Leading up to Rio, I've been diving for 16 years. I've gone to 3 Olympics, or 2 Olympics at that time, and I've had a lot of success in my sport. And leading up to Rio, I was mentally exhausted. It was actually a really hard route getting to the Olympic Games, and Soldati definitely knows what it was like, and just not wanting to be there. I was in competition on the big stage, and just wondering if the grass was green on the other side. So with that said, I told myself I'd give myself a year after the Olympic Games in Rio, and I did just that. And then June, we decided to pull the trigger, and I've been training since June, and hopefully going to make a 4th run to the Olympic Games in Tokyo. And you know, there's 2 major things. One of them was I needed that mental break, and then I was physically able to do it. More importantly than that, I just saw the opportunity, just the amount of opportunities I had to go on a stage to speak, whether it was a secular audience or a faith-based audience. I think it's no secret that my faith is my #1 driver. So being able to see how many people I can impact on this big stage, and it's a huge responsibility. I know that there's a lot of weight to it, and I just want to try to be as faithful as I can. And I look back on the last 4 years leading up to Rio, and I saw just a lot of missed opportunities where I could have been a better mentor to my teammates, been more loving to the people that were coming up to me, and I believe God is giving me this platform to be able to use it for Him. There we go. That's I'm going for another Olympics, and it's not going to be easy, but my wife has been unbelievably supportive, and she was a little dumbfounded when I said it in January. But just as we've gone on, she's an extremely awesome and loving helper, so I'm just extremely thankful for her as well. And I think right now what we're doing is trying to get back in shape. After that year off, I ate whatever I wanted, and I was normal. So now it's just trying to take off the weight, get back in shape, and then see what my body can handle. So there's no certainties. I could walk out here and break my leg and be done. So what we're trying to do is just take it one step at a time. The past 2008 and 2012, it was just me. I was traveling, and I didn't have responsibilities at home for a family, and so it is a little more weighty. I get to travel and compete on that big stage, and my wife is staying home with 2 children, so I can't minimize that. She has the way harder job than I do, just being at home. You know, I think my kids would see me as a daddy first, and as a diver second. And Coda actually remembers Rio Olympics. Every time she sees an American flag, she starts saying USA. It's adorable. And then she sets up her little action figures in the bathtub and dyes them off. So she definitely remembers. But yeah, I think because it's been such a big part of my life, it's nice for them to be able to see that. But I don't want them to see me as this figure at the Olympic Games. I want them to see me as daddy, and that I love them, and I want what's best for them in their life. And I think that's just an added bonus. Have I told Seal about me coming back?
Yes.
I've been training with them since June, yeah.
So when you made that announcement to him, when you told him, what was his reaction?
Well, when I came back in June and started training, the entire team was there, and I was probably 10 pounds heavier, and they all looked at me and just kind of giggled, just because I wasn't like that sharp. I wasn't that sharp diver that I was a year ago, so they were excited, and I was excited to be back with them, and I think Steele and the entire team were supportive of that.
David has displayed unbelievable character throughout his career of diving. And when you display consistent character, what that does is people begin to respect that. And then when people respect that, you develop trust. And then ultimately, trust is the building block of all relationships. And then when you have relationships, you have influence into people's lives. So people say, you know, what is leadership? I say, well, leadership is influence. And so for David, that's what my biggest thing is. We're going to do everything in the pool. We're going to work hard, but he has earned influence and leadership into people's lives. Right here at Purdue, with our athletes, U.S. Diving, the U.S. Diving family, and literally around the world. And so I say, hey, if we're physically able and we know the sacrifice, we know what it's going to take, we know it. We know it better than maybe we want to know how hard it's going to be to do that again. But if the body's there and the mind is there and the amount of influence that can be generated in people's lives because of this, well, then let's go full speed ahead and let's never lose that focus, because as soon as we start losing that focus is when it starts steering off and it becomes all internally focused. Like, he's got no room to be internally focused. He has a wife and 2 kids that are priority number 1 underneath his relationship with Christ. And so he's the bigger sacrifice he's going to have to do is he has to keep dying to himself for these next 4 years, pouring out into everybody else because that's what's required of him. A little bit contrary to sometimes the message the world may tell you is that we need to take care of ourselves and turn in. And I say, no, we need to turn out and love the people around us, and then blessings will flow from that.